Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the White Belt MMA podcast. And it's an absolute pleasure to have on the show again Dwight Grant, who is set to fight on October 23rd against Francisco Trinaldo on UFC Fight Night. So, hey, Dwight, it's been a while. So, how you been, my man?
I've been pretty good. How you been?
Been pretty good, man. And like I was telling you off camera, I've been wanting to have you back for one, not only talk about your fight, but two, talk about all these Marvel shows and everything that's in store for us for phase 4. So, but first, let's talk about your fight on October 23rd, man. So,
All right.
How's training camp been? Pretty much how's training camp been? How's everything been? So, getting ready for the fight.
Training been pretty good. I've been very nomadic in this endeavor this time. I've been training a lot of different places. Got to train a lot of really cool people, a lot of really cool gyms, and really got to push myself a lot. I've been looking at the way I want to fight, like the way I envision the fight going, but also the way I want to fight moving forward, and trying to like push that pace and make myself do that in the gym, also so I can do it in the cage also.
Yeah, I mean, if I can ask, what other places have you gone to train? Not just at Alliance MMA, but like what other places have you trained at?
Oh, a bunch of places. I was training Phil Davis. He had his fight a couple weeks ago. I was helping him train and prepare for that one. So I was like in camp with him for a bit there at Azteca. I went to Ato's gym. There were a lot of great grapplers there. I trained there. Alliance, another Alliance with Alliance. It's another wonderful gym I've been training at. And I feel like I'm leaving some major ones out here. Oh, Game Bread, which has been always awesome and opening doors to help me train. Just train with my coach Adam also. Train with him and getting myself together. And Nikki, it's like this. Everybody, I feel this camp has been very personalized to me and what I need. Like, oh, you need this? Let's go here. You need this? Let's do this today. And that's been an amazing experience.
Yeah. And then obviously like right now, is this your first time kind of having like this nomadic experience of just kind of going from gym to gym to gym? Or is it, one thing that you kind of like just done over your career and it's kind of like you're kind of going back to your roots type of thing?
Well, when I first started training, I was training like a kung fu school, and I wasn't allowed to train anywhere else. Like it was like no go. You can't go anywhere for any reason. That was like for like the first 6-7 years of me fighting, like amateurs going into pro. So when I came to California, I was training AKA, and we were allowed to train other places, obviously, but it still wasn't as as free as this experience, where it's like, all right, I can go wherever I want. I can show up and do a little drop in and get some training and talk to people. My thing about training is this: like I enjoy it and I like to train, the competition stuff. But my favorite thing about training is talking to people afterwards and trying to figure out what I did wrong, how I can improve, and like trading theories, because that's really what makes me a better fighter. Like I'm in shape for sure, you know what I mean? But how am I going to use this body to force the win? If I don't have the right theories and principles in place in my mind, I'm going there and just be like, oh, and end up getting beat up. So I really like training these places because I got a lot of good insight from really good fighters.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. So, and plus you're on a great card too, October 23rd. If I'm not mistaken, it's the Paulo Costa versus Marvin Vettori card. And I know you got that fight, against Francisco Trinaldo, but I do have to ask you because, as a fan, people are talking. It's like Paulo Costa, Vettori. Is it going to be another one of those Yoel Romero versus Paulo Costa? Like they meet in the middle and it's just absolute chaos. Yeah. But, for you, I know you're focused on your fight, but if I can get your prediction on that fight, that would be great.
That's a tough one. I mean, like just based on both of their performances against Adesanya, I feel like Vettori is gonna do better. I feel I want to say more well-rounded, but will he be able to get Acosta to the ground? I think it's gonna be a really, really good fight. A lot of striking for sure, but there may be some grappling, a little bit of grappling involved to kind of. That's probably gonna be the only way they can slow each other down is to grab and hold for a little bit, But I think Vettori might have a bit of an advantage.
That's awesome, brother. Appreciate it on the prediction. And then another thing too, obviously, like I said, it's like, I know you got the fight focused on October 23rd, but let's say you get past October 23rd with no injuries, you're set to go for another one. Would you do another fight for 2021, or would you kind of, lay low for a little bit, or do 2022?
I'm trying to get 2 more.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get 1 or 2 more. Like we got after my fight, I have 2 months left in a year, and I want to finish it out. Like you get a lot of good fights. I mean, at least 2. So I'm thinking about that right now. Just trying to keep my mind on this one. But a part of me is like, yeah, man, let's go for the next one.
No, 100%, dude. And like you said, everyone that's watching is gonna be rooting for you. I know I'm gonna be rooting for you on October 23rd.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And then now, brother, let's get into the nitty gritty about the Marvel shows. Because I know, like, since the last podcast we did together, I remember I said it's like, once like the fall starts coming around, we start getting more and more stuff. Like, I want to have you back on so we can nerd out about the show. So
My pleasure.
Yeah, right. Okay, so let's start off with the first Marvel show that came out, WandaVision. What you think about that? Because I know a lot of people, right? Like, after and me included, the first 3 episodes were like, oh, we're not sure about this. It's weird and this and this and that. And then they just went from 0 to 100. Starting in episode 4. So for you, man, like, give us your thoughts on the show, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Well, I was really interested in the show because I know they had a comic book run where it was like Wanda and Vision. Mm-hmm. And I heard it was really, really good. And I didn't get to read it yet, so I bought all the books, but I didn't get to read it. So I was, all right, well, I'll watch and see what it is. When it started, really didn't expect it to be there, but I did watch a lot of like I Love Lucy and like stuff like that, Bewitched growing up, like, like a Nick and Knight and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I was interested in the show, and it was pretty cool. And luckily, they did 2 episodes. Because if they did 1 episode, and then made us wait a week, I probably would have been like, okay, this show is I don't know about this, but they gave us 2 at first, and then we were able to kind of work into it. And then as it started to become more expansive and into the real Marvel universe, not just like confined to the people on the show, the characters on the show, I really got into it. I mean, as everybody did, but I felt like the way it started off was such a great homage to those old TV shows that it gave the show a kind of character that it might not have had if it just started off with the action, like it had its own personality, its own feel, its own soundtrack, like its own, even the ending credits had like great music, and it was really like it pulled me in. So I really like that show. I mean, I think the show even made me like Scarlet Witch a lot more because I kind of didn't like her a bit from the comic books. She she's caused some trouble in the comic books, but I think it definitely made me enjoy the character a lot more too.
No, 100%. And then like, it's another thing that I was telling people, right? Like, now that we've gotten a couple shows under our belts, it's like after Loki, I started to get more of an appreciation of WandaVision, right? Because like after WandaVision came out, I'm like, yeah, that was a good show. And then, we get right into Captain Winter Soldier, which like, we're going to get to. But like I said, it's like now, like after like all these shows, like I have more of appreciation to WandaVision, and now it's kind of like, holy crap, like we're going to get into like a huge mess once we get to Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like I'm hyped, but as we keep going along, dude, we get Cap and Winter Soldier right after. I mean, I know Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but like for anybody that's watched the show, they know that Falcon's the new Captain America.
Yeah.
His suit is fire.
But in the comic books too, like he was he took over the mantle for a bit, and awesome costume. They pulled it right out of the book, so it looked really cool. And that show too, and going even back a little bit to WandaVision, they had their own personality for that, their own flavor, and then they really differentiated it from Cap and Winter Soldier, and that had its own flavor too. It had a lot of great themes in it, a lot of great action. It felt more like a Marvel movie. Like WandaVision definitely felt like a TV show, not in a bad way, but just like, they ingrained themselves in like 80s and 90s shows and made it a big deal. Cap and Winter Soldier felt more like a Marvel movie being extended across a amount of time, and that was really, really cool.
100%. I mean, I'm not gonna say you got jealous, but at the same time, it's like with GSP showing up in the first couple of episodes, were you like, man, I gotta send my audition tape. I'm trying to be in the next Marvel
for show. Sure, man. I was like, this guy GSP always stealing my role. But seriously, like I was so excited to see him, and like, look, I'm a fan of his, from MMA, but it's not because of that. It's because I absolutely love when I see like combat athletes playing in martial arts movies. I'm still a big Jackie Chan fan, and I would see like a lot of Taekwondo guys and kickboxers in the movies, and I was like, this is pretty awesome. You know, like seeing him in there, it reminds me of like, you know, like Van Damme, even though he was an athlete, but just like, you know, I mean, like him popping up in a movie, or like you see like, you know, like Lundgren or Schwarzenegger, like an action hero. I'm waiting for GSP to get a movie where like either he's in the Marvel universe or whatever, but he's just an action hero dispatching of like hundreds of people, you know. But anyway,
no, I get you, and I'm the same way. I want to see him succeed as an actor too. I mean, plus, I mean, dude, he's got the flow now, the blonde hair. So I'm over here. I'm like, he's fully appreciated. He's fully like diving into the Hollywood lifestyle. So like, I mean, I hope it works out for him. But let me ask you though, you think he's actually dead? Because you never know with these Marvel shows.
Definitely not. No, not a chance. Not a chance. And you know why I say that too? Because I always like, I can't watch trailers. I can't even get any kind of reviews, because I will try to think of every possible outcome during the whole course of the movie or show, whatever it is, you know? So when I see certain things, I look for certain things. They didn't show him dead. If I remember correctly, they didn't show him. They didn't show him like on the floor or nothing like that. That man's alive. He's coming back. You know, I was hoping they wouldn't show it. I mean, it's a way to leave the door open for him to come back in the future. You know, so hopefully his dance card won't be too full and he can hop back in. Yeah.
No, 100%. And I feel like if anything, like I feel like it's I don't know, it just reminds me of like those like old cartoon shows of like the villain that always comes back. Because that's how I kind of felt with like GSP. It's like GSP and the Falcon. It's like, or Captain America. It's like, you know what I mean? I feel like in the Winter Soldier, he was there. And then it's like he ends up coming back with this show. Now I was just like, hey, like if anything, just keep him alive. You just have him pop in here and there. You know, just
because he can go toe to toe with these guys. I think one thing that Marvel learned, well, I should say Marvel in particular, but yeah, man, because the Hulk movie, the one back in the day, you know, the Eric Bana one, wasn't so great, you know, but it wasn't because the actors or the producers like that. It was because every superhero, for any superhero movie, needs a formidable opponent that can go toe to toe with them. I don't care what it is. Even if you have Lex Luthor fighting Superman, he needs to build a robot to fight him, or create some kind of Sun Man to fight him toe to toe, because you want to see our characters go toe to toe with somebody and have an all-out brawl. You know, we don't want to see them like, you know, dodging lasers for like 2.5 hours and then catching the bad guy. So GSP, as long as he's in there against Cap, Winter Soldier, you know, Falcon, he can go toe to toe with them and make it a great show. And we know that he's a real combat athlete too. So it's kind of like a little bit extra. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. But hey, you said something there that I'm kind of, I might have to argue with a little bit. You said that the 2003 Eric Bana Hulk wasn't good. You didn't like it?
It wasn't bad. It just wasn't as okay. So the next one had was the guy from Fight Club. One of my favorite actors. I can't remember his name right now. But remember the next one came out and he went against Abomination, and it was like, oh snap, Abomination, and they were going toe to toe in the streets. Like that to me is a more satisfying fight than him fighting 3 mutant dogs in the forest. I mean,
maybe that's true, but you know, at the same time, like I like the whole dynamic with him and his dad, and then I forgot the name of the villain that his dad turns into.
It wasn't. I thought it was Absorbing Man, but it wasn't. It was somebody. It turned to somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, then again, it could be just childhood nostalgia that I'm like, yo, like, you know, that movie was good and this and that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just like that, like, you know, the whole thing, the whole comic book feel of it, which I know people hated, like the little transitions and everything like that. You remember? Yeah. You know what I mean? I personally like the soundtrack better than the 2008 one. Like in that movie, I don't know. That's just me. And
I understand what you're saying. Because remember, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying that, like, as things progress, you know, like we see movies where, like, if you compare any movie, superhero movie, I don't want to say otherwise, just keep it superhero movies. If you compare any superhero movie where they're fighting someone who can't fight them, you know, it's not really as exciting. I mean, like my favorite Superman movies, I mean, I'm going to Superman just because, you know, that was like the superhero that had the most movies, you know, like when he fought Zod and when he fought Nuclear Man or the, you know, like because they went toe to toe, you know, like the other ones are good too, you know, Saving Lois Lane, you know, but come on, man, like when you were a kid, you watch somebody like duke it out with your favorite hero, like you even gain a certain level of respect for the villain. Like, dad, he can take a punch from this guy. This guy must be strong, you know. And I feel like they've kind of done that better with the Captain America kind of movies, and even the Black Widow movie. You know, like where you have somebody going toe to toe, and it's like, all right, well, this is an exciting match.
Yeah, I mean, and then Black Widow, that's another great movie. But dude, I just feel like they just, I mean, like I said, I feel like they messed up with the release date, man. Because the thing is like,
Yeah.
because it's like, I get it. It's, you know, she deserved her, like her own movie, but at the same time, it's like, dude, if that movie came out before Infinity War or even in between Infinity War and Endgame, I feel like her death would have had more of an impact. It was still sad, but like,
dude, I would have cried. I would have cried in the theater. Like if I didn't watch this movie ahead of time, first of all, like after seeing Infinity War and then watching that movie, you're kind of watching it like as a real observer. Like you're not really getting as invested in it because you're like anything she says about the future, you're like, you know?
Like we know what happens.
Yeah, like, it's not really. And I wouldn't have looked at her sister as such a replacement because as I'm watching the movie, you know, the actress that played her sister did a great job. You know, and I'm watching it like, oh, she's gonna be in a new phase. Like it's got to be her. You know, and that's kind of what I'm looking for throughout the whole movie. I'm kind of almost grading her performance, like, will she be a good Black Widow, as opposed to just watching her as an accessory character and then seeing something happen to her, and you know, or with her in Infinity War, and being sad about it. But then, oh yeah, there's always just, you know, and then kind of finding hope in her, you know, her sister coming up, getting real deep about finding hope, and her sister being revealed as like possibly the new Black Widow. So you know, I think you're right. They definitely should have came out with it beforehand.
Yeah, man. And then that whole lawsuit with Scarlett Johansson and Disney, that just made things super shaky between them, because I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I don't even know if they're bringing her back. I know she's supposed to be dead, but with the multiverse and everything like that, you just never know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure they're gonna sell it. I mean, they've been working together for like what, more than a decade now. You know, like I'm sure it can't be all just like, you know, business. They're gonna, if she's supposed to come back, work it out and bring her back. Unless they pull like a old school Beetleborgs and like bring a new character in, a new actress that's supposed to be the old actress.
I know,
you know,
right?
so I don't know. So, but I'm pretty sure if she's supposed to come back, that it'll be Scarlett Johansson coming back.
Yeah, you know, fingers crossed, because like, you know, like you said, you know, she's just a great actress, and you know, the fact that she worked in the whole universe for a whole decade, it's like, dude, it would be awesome to have, you know, at least some of the OG Avengers back. Because like now we're like we talked in the last episode, it's like now it's just like the new Avengers are coming in, and it's like now the OGs, Cap, Iron Man, and all those are gone. Who knows what's gonna happen to Thor? But yeah, no, to bring it back on track though, then we get to Loki. Loki, in my opinion, now that was my favorite one of the whole shows. That just coming out. Like that had me on like the edge of my seat. I don't know if it was episode 3 when like the female Loki like explodes like all like the timelines. When that happened, I'm like, holy crap! So you know, give me your thoughts about the show, man.
I'm gonna talk about the show, but I gotta say, in that moment, all I could see when the timeline started to go sideways was Spider-Man. Every like, please, you know, I think that show was so well done. Like, okay, now this show, you know, it had a different feel as well. It felt like also like a movie, but not like a Marvel movie. I don't know. It felt almost like I don't know, to me at least, like a little bit of like Star Trek in a way, like, you know, like a certain kind of a vibe with this whole kind of federation that deals with this and that and all the bureaucracy and all this, like these people that you have to please to make things work. And I was like, okay, this is a nice feel. And then you have this crazy Loki character, the God of Mischief, you know, like in there among all this like organizational stuff, and he represents chaos. So I was just waiting for him to cause trouble, you know. And they managed to play it out in a way where I started to really feel for this guy. I mean, I was a fan of his a little bit when I was a kid, only because, like, you know, Thor comic books are cool, but like Thor in the comic book is very like, yes, I am Thor. You know, like he doesn't, when he's the other guy, he's, you know, a little more action, a little more story. But as Thor, he's not as you know. But Loki would come in and make it great, or make it like pretty interesting. But they made me really feel for him throughout the show, and I think that's what really makes it such a great show. You felt for this guy who's been the villain and done awful things for the past like 10 years.
Yeah. And it's so hilarious how, like, in the show is like you said, you started to feel for Loki, but then it's just so hilarious that Loki ultimately ended up falling in love with himself, with the female version of himself. And I saw that, I'm like, I kid you not, it was good the way they did it, but I just started laughing because I'm like, no other character this would have worked for except Loki.
It was very on the nose. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, this guy is vain, he's this and that, and his perfect match is himself in an alternate reality. So that, I mean, but then they made her great too. They gave her her own story. They didn't make her just an accessory to him. You know, like he definitely wanted to be the main character. You know, like and I think almost like a little like Naruto vibe. Like, you know, like I'm the main character of this story, but then you have this other character who's super cool. You know, and like you know, like Naruto Sasuke kind of thing. Like she's like super cool, and like you really want to know what she's doing now. You know, and like what her abilities are, her history, and her past. And it's almost they were fighting for like the dominance of the show. Like, who's the main character here? It's Loki, but is it this Loki? Is the main character that Loki? And then you know they start kind of becoming a unit, and then it's like, oh, it's just like a term for everybody. And everybody, by the end of the show, it's like Loki is like a stamp that just means all these characters, and it's a great show. You know?
No, 100%. But you know, so something that you said a little earlier, right? You saw all the timelines start branching out. You see Spider-Man, Spider-Man. I don't know what episode it was. I think it was either the second to last or something like that. But then when you saw the other Lokis, not just the female Lokis, but the alligator Loki.
Yeah.
I don't know the names of the other ones, the OG Loki, like the ones like the OG costume. So like from there, in your brain, because I know like we're gonna get to Spider-Man soon, but like in your brain, when that happened, were you just screaming at the top of your lungs? Because I know that's what I was. I was like, yeah, like this is where we're going.
I was so happy. You know, it's almost like you expect it in a way. You know, like I know it's coming. I know the multiverse is coming up. You know, like we have the whole thing in the comic books. You know, it has to come. But I'm waiting for them to just mention it and say it. To kind of like make it canon in this universe. And yeah, I was super excited. I was immediately thinking of who will be cast as what character and this and that. Like the show went off. And afterwards, I'm just sitting there thinking, you know, like just leaning back, thinking about all the possible casting, all the possible, like, you know what I mean, like other realities they can bring in, you know, from the books. That would be great stories, you know. Like, I mean, Spider-Man for sure, Miles Morales, but we might see Spider-Girl, not Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen, but I mean, like, you might even like, there's some great Spider-Man stories.
Dude, yeah, I know. That's all I'm excited. We're gonna get to the Spider because, like, you know, at the end of Spider-Man, we're gonna talk about that Spider-Man trailer. We're gonna talk about that Spider-Man. I know. Once we get there, dude, we're straight on Spider-Man galore. But dude, it's like, you know, let me ask you this. It's like after you finish watching it, because I know for Loki, like after I started finish like watching every episode, I would go into all those like fan theories. I'll watch those videos on YouTube. Are you the same type of person that like goes like, let me go watch I don't know, was it Watch Mojo or watch, you know, other stuff like that? Like, do you kind of go down that same realm?
I do that whenever I finish watching a show, a movie. Like, you know, I'll go see what other perspectives, but also, you know, things, Easter eggs that you might have missed, all kinds of stuff, just to get the full scope of everything, so you can appreciate, you know, the vision of the artists, for the writers, everything, and really, and well, just to extend the movie almost, you know.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm rewatching it.
And then next thing you know, it's like 3-4 hours later, and you're like, damn, I just wasted my day.
I wake up in 4 hours. Look,
yeah, and you're like, well, it's gonna be a long day tomorrow. But now let's talk about that Spider-Man trailer, man.
Yes.
That Spider-Man trailer. The most anticipated trailer. That it's funny too, because like you had a bunch of people getting clowned for like saying like, oh, this is the date for the trailer. No, this is the day. This is the day. This is the day. But then it finally came out, and we got what we think is coming.
Yes.
Hopefully Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield coming into the picture. So, man, just give us your thoughts about the whole trailer, because I know I was screaming at the top of my lungs.
I was excited. I mean, once I Doctor Strange and like, you know, them talking about multiverse stuff, I was like, all right, this is amazing, you know. But like, I kind of saw what comic books they were pulling from to make the story, and it surprised me. Like, they seem to be doing something similar to like to One More Day and like, you know, like all these different things. And I was like, there's gonna be some great stories coming from this. And when he said in the trailer, you know, like, wait, you're not gonna remember me? You know, my girlfriend, my best friend, I can remember. Like, then I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be. It's possible that, like, you know, this movie could really. I mean, it's supposed to be the start of the new era of Marvel in a way, but it could really, you know, branch off so many other characters that could become huge characters. I don't think they're gonna be able to keep all these Spider-Man characters inside of the Marvel universe. It's gonna be crazy, you know. But they might do like the comic book and make a spin-off movie, spin-off TV show, animated or not, where you have all these people in the show and people are gonna love it. So that's the part that kind of stuck out the most to me.
Now let me ask you this: like, then the trailer, we did not see Tobey, we did not see Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But we saw Doc Ock and we saw a bunch of other villains from the Andrew Garfield universe. So let me ask you this: how do you think they're going to get introduced? And
Oh,
again,
I mean,
if
okay.
if Marvel does not have Toby and Andrew Garfield, you guys are about to let down a bunch of people. But
Oh my gosh.
let's keep on going. It's like, how do you think Toby and Andrew are going to get introduced into the movie?
I think it's gonna be. It's either gonna. Well, there's one way I think it could be, and I hope it's not because I want them to have more central roles.
Mm.
Is where they have like Spider-Man falling through a bunch of different universes, and in one universe he falls into like he sees Tobey Maguire, another one he falls into he sees Andrew Garfield, and it's only for like 30, 40 seconds. I don't want that. Right?
Yeah, no.
I want Tobey Maguire to be like come in there as like some kind of experienced old Spider-Man that's been fighting a war for like 20 years, and he's like,
It's like with the
you know what I
beard
mean?
and everything.
Almost like grizzled a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit. Like I mean, like he went through all these things, and he has to kind of guide this young Spider-Man through that universe and back to his own, and then have Andrew Garfield pop up, and please, 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 Spider-Man 2099. Miguel O'Hara pop him in there. Oh my God, I just want to see that. I want to see that suit in a real movie. The blue suit, the blue and red, not that white suit, the blue and red suit with the spice on the side.
Yep.
I want to see that pop up and then make it a substantial addition to the movie and make it really a nostalgic movie, but also something brand new and fresh, as opposed to just like a quick jump here and there. I hope the movie's 3 hours long.
Oh, dude, no, 100%. I feel like this movie, like you said, it has to be 3 hours long, especially with like the amount of characters that are apparently rumored to be in it.
Yeah.
Quote unquote rumored. So it's like, I don't know, dude. I hope it happens. But let me ask you this: like you said, you kind of want Toby to kind of take that role of like guiding the younger Spider-Man and everything like that. Do you think in a weird way they're gonna do the same thing they did with like Into the Spider-Verse, that like at the end like Toby has to do like a sacrifice play type of thing, or no?
I hope not. I mean, let's let him go back to the universe because not saying you can use him again or whatever it is, but there's no need for us to see Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, die in any kind of way. Like you know what? It's Disney now. It's not like a really connected, but in Star Wars, the last couple of Star Wars movies, right? You know what hurt me the most?
Man.
You know what hurt me the most? Every single movie, they killed one of my favorite characters. It's like, why am I coming back to this? Every time I come to you, you're hurting me over and over again. Please. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that. I want to go through that again. So just let me see Tobey Maguire and them all just give a thumbs up and disappear back into their portal and be, like in a better situation. Don't murder him or Andrew Garfield or something like that. If it's a new character, maybe, some kind of tragedy there, but not,
I know, man. I know. It's one of those things. It's like I was just thinking to myself, like I said, it's like what if they do that? You know what I mean? Because the same thing. It's just like, how would I feel? Because like in a weird way, I don't know, for like the OG Spider-Man 3 movie, like I feel like the way that ended, I don't know. It kind of aged like fine wine. I feel like it's like, I like it. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But like, like you said, just seeing Tobey Maguire, a childhood like hero, die in front of my eyes. You're about to see a grown man just start crying in the theater, and be like, no, no.
Especially if you bring him back and make him like a beloved character. Because think about it, like, in the Sam Raimi movies, he had a certain way of himself. And then also Andrew Garfield has his own way of behaving in his movies, But like to see him come back and then in this era with this writing style, and he's gonna be on point. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna be delivering those lines. It's gonna be all kinds of throwback stuff, all kinds of jokes, all kinds of one-liners, and then to have that it's gonna be like Logan or something like that. It's gonna feel like I'm watching something that is like it's tragic. So I want to keep him alive. Andrew Garfield also, they got to put him in the movie, and then also try to craft in a way where they tell some other stories of the other Spider-Man characters, like not just Spider-Gwen, but people that aren't as popular. Like Spider-Girl was really popular for a long time, like back in the day, and then she kind of disappeared. It would be cool if they have her and show kind of the possibility of her origin and to show what Peter might be losing if he makes everybody forget who he is and what the ramifications could be, and really put the weight. And they're good at doing that for Spider-Man, making them, like carry the weight of a lot of things. So I expect a really good movie. My hopes are really high.
Oh, 100%. I'm with you on that one. Like we said, it's like if Marvel somehow, I mean, like I said, they've been good so far, but they're bound for that one flop. And let's just hope it's not Spider-Man. Let's just hope it's not Spider-Man. But like, for the Spider-Gwen, like, do you think they're gonna bring Emma Stone into that role, or is probably gonna get like a different cast?
how many years has it been? I mean, ever since Spider-Gwen has been, or Ghost Spider has been, in the Marvel Universe, there's been so many like mock-up fan pictures, stuff of Emma Stone in the costume. Like they got if they make her if they make her the same age as the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, saying that they don't make her Spider-Gwen from a different universe, but they use Spider-Gwen from is actually Gwen Stacy from that universe, then they have to use Emma Stone. Unless Spider-Gwen is the same age as Tom Holland Spider-Man, then they have to. And honestly, I wouldn't expect. It's as much as I want to predict, it's hard for me to predict because if they make her the same age as Tom Holland Spider-Man, are they gonna then make her love interest and make Mary Jane kind of forget who the whole situation? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I would like to see Emma Stone in the movie, though, to be honest.
No, that'd be cool. I mean, we both know that Disney has that money, so they can pay out. They can pay out. But
for real.
Like, it's like we're like what 2-3 months away. So like, dude, like how are you gonna like keep away from spoilers? Because the thing is like it's tough, right? Because you always have people like leaking apparently scenes or something like that. And like once that happens, I'm like, oh crap, no. But like for you, like how do you stay away from spoilers? Because I have the hardest time.
Well, I mean that's what happened with Shang-Chi. Like I went to see it right away because I was scared that somebody would spoil it for me and I'd be upset. Like what I try to do is I go to the same kind of sites all the time. I go to the same as much as I love IGN, I stay away from IGN because they will put a spoiler picture, or like title pop up all of a sudden, and you don't even have to finish the sentence, but like you took a snapshot in your mind, like
Yep.
And then also even on our Instagram, like I'm on a video game Instagram, stuff like that, and I use that to surf the net because I don't want anybody posting anything crazy and then saying something that's going to spoil it for me. So I guess I'll get lucky, I guess. I don't know.
You know what's crazy? Like I said, I have the hardest time staying away from spoilers. From episode 8, when again, like if you haven't watched the Star Wars movies, bro, where you been? You living under the rock? But like at the same time, it's like I got spoiled that Snoke died.
Oh,
and the thing is, you would never expect where I got spoiled that Snoke died. I was watching one of those like UFC top 10 like videos. And then like dude. And then I'm just reading the comments and then I just see Snoke dies. And then like, you know how it is. It was like the day of Star Wars coming out. And I'm just there sitting. I'm like, please don't tell me this. Please don't tell me this is true. And then I went to go watch it. And then obviously the scene, right? You start seeing the lightsabers just start going to Snoke. And I'm like, well, it was true. It was true.
These people are monsters.
Yeah, they really are.
I don't understand like the joy to get out of that. I mean, just being a troll, I guess. But like in the first movie, I got spoiled in the theater by somebody that I actually came with to see the first Star Wars, The Force Awakens. Was the person the one?
Yeah.
The person they saw it already, and then when we got there, they were talking about. I said, "Hey man, chill, don't talk about it." And he was all right. One thing though. You like Han Solo? I was like, yeah. He's like, don't get too attached. And I was like, huh?
Man.
And I went and sat down. And look, let me tell you something. When they were on the bridge, I was like, that's what it is. Like that's what it is. I thought that it would be impossible for this person to be telling the truth, but no, it was true. So
it's like at that point you're like, yo, man, just get out, bro. You're walking home. You're walking home.
Like why? But I mean, it was. I think for him it was more of like a joke kind of mistake. But to post it online, like this character dies and something, and just leave it there like a mine to trip somebody up. It doesn't make any sense, man. Like what do you can't even see the person grief if they do. Like what are you gaining? Yeah, so it's really important to stay away from. I think, especially close to release, stay away from social media as much as you can. And only have like trusted sources that you have notifications for. You pop into there and you go out. You can't just be scrolling down because goodness sake, man.
100%, yeah. And then you mentioned another movie that we forgot to talk about, Shang-Chi. Like I said, but right before we end this, we're gonna talk about Shang-Chi. In my opinion, one of my favorite Marvel movies, and I did not expect that to be the case. Yeah. It's like I went in there, and then dude, it was honestly it was awesome. There's no other way to describe it, man. Like it gave me Dragon Ball Z vibes. I don't know if it did for you, but like it was. If anything, Shang-Chi is gonna be a dude that. It's probably gonna be one of my favorite characters in the new Avengers. I don't know if that's the case for you too.
Oh, for sure, man. Like, I got so much to say about the movie. Like, first of all, like they managed to capture the feeling magnificently. It felt like one of the old like Shaw Brothers movies, you know, with all the flying and striking and stuff like that. But it had that whimsical, like Crouch Tiger, Hidden Dragon kind of vibe also. You know, like where it's like it's a realistic movie based in you know, like modern times, but it has this fantasy element to it that feels like it's from a different culture and different world, you know, different from your own. So you kind of really get that like that feel. And if you grew up watching martial arts movies, it was nostalgic. And then they had, you know what I mean, like you know, like really great characters, and they hadn't developed, you know, so well. And then the action was on point. Like they had like, you know, like the bus scene. I think everyone that sees the movie talks about that. And that was like the first action scene. Like they set the bar like way up here. Like, you know, the first action scene, the bus scene was so amazing that, like, you know, you got to think about all your previous action movies you've seen growing up, and like, oh, that's a Jack Chan movie. Oh, okay, yeah, that's kind of like, okay, that's a Donnie Yen right there. Okay, that's like, you know, like, oh, okay, that's, you know, and it was an amazing film. And they have Michelle Yeoh in there for sure. So like, you know, it really hit home. And she's like probably my favorite well, female actress or female actress action star from since I was like a little kid. You know, ever since she did that movie Wing Chun, like way back in the day, you know, that's like my favorite action hero to see. So I was so excited to see her that it just made everything come together, man. Everything was amazing.
That's awesome. I mean, like, were you like already like well versed on Shang-Chi before going in there, or like you were just kind of going brand new, like you knew his story?
Not really. I've heard of him before from just reading the comic books, but not his comic book directly. It was more like from reading stuff that had like Luke Cage in it, or you know they have these comic books where it's like they'll have like Luke Cage and they'll have like, a couple characters that aren't really the mainstream characters, you know, Iron Fist, and they'll mention things, or you'll see them and Blade and somebody, you know, having a conversation. Like I've heard of him and seen it from there, but never directly reading one of his books. So for me, it was a brand new experience, you know, and they made him awesome, and most importantly, they made him super cool.
Yeah.
like at the end, he was like the Avatar almost. You know what I mean? Like really like going in on his abilities, and you really got to see, you know, potential for him to be a major force in the upcoming battles. You know, kind of like how when we saw, you know, Endgame, certain people came in, you were like, oh, he's here, she's here. You know, like he's gonna be something, a force to be reckoned with, you know.
When do you think's the next time we see him though? Multiverse, or like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, or you think they wait out a little bit for them?
I think they have to be the Multiverse of Madness because well, I mean the movie's pretty new, so I don't want to talk about too much stuff that happened, like, you know what I mean, like specifically, but you know, it has to be multiverse because, you know, he needs to be around those characters, and he's kind of around the same level of, you know how Marvel Comics is like, there's like the action superheroes, like, you know, like Spider-Man and Hulk, and there's like, you know, Doctor Strange, and like, you know, like characters who are more like mysticism revolving around there. And, you know, so he's kind of in that area. So he should be with Doctor Strange in them until they have to mesh, which would be again in Spider-Man. You know, which would be Spider-Man. So maybe see him in Spider-Man for a couple seconds, you know, just handling business. Yeah, and then we have like a more deep dive until then.
100%, man. Yeah, man. Dwight, again, like I said, this is fun. You know, like I said, I hope we can do this every couple months, every time like we get a whole batch of like new Marvel content, which is, you know, again, just nerd out. But yeah, man. So, you know, before we go, do you want to plug in your social medias again? And then once again, people, Dwight Grant is fighting on October 23rd against Francisco Trinaldo on UFC Fight Night. We gotta, you know, keep that there. But yeah, guys, everyone. Dwight, what are your social media handles so everyone can go and follow you?
Oh yeah, I'm on Dwight Grant MMA on Instagram. Also Dwight Grant on Twitter, and I also have Punches and Dragons on Instagram, which is like my pure video game content stuff. But I post some stuff on my other stuff too. You know, I've been posting a lot more video game stuff across all platforms recently, just because, like, you know, I've been pretty excited about a lot of things that's been happening. So just those three.
100%, brother. So, like, you know, once again, hopefully we can do this every couple months, every time a whole batch comes out. And yeah, everyone, tune in October 23rd. Dwight Grant versus Francisco Trinaldo. We're all gonna be rooting for Dwight Grant. All right, my man. Everyone, thank you, and everyone watching, peace.